Hey everybody, trick and tutorial time. So today's tutorial is focused on something called C3, which is a colour change, not to be confused with the trick known as C3. Both have been popularised actually by Shin, so it could get confusing for you. And yeah, I use this one, as does Chris Ramsey and a few others. Credit to Chris Ramsey, it was his channel I first discovered this move on. And this move, you'll see I do it downwards, then the tutorial talk about how you can do it at this angle as well. And so let's begin with looking at the trick. Then I'll go into the very complicated colour change. So for those who just like to watch a trick, watch just the first bit, that's okay. And then if you're looking to learn that C3 colour change, stick around. It's quite a long tutorial because it's quite a difficult thing to learn. And yeah, let's get cracking. Okay, so we take a deck of cards. We choose a card at random. There you go. And then we take the two jokers. And all we do is we give them a shake and a card appears. What's the card? Well, the card is the Jack of Hearts. And we give it another shake. It becomes the 10 of clubs. Alright then, let's go over the shoulder and look at. Okay, so this is a simple trick using the C3 colour change, as I said in the intro. Yes. Now C3 is not to be confused, as I said earlier, with a trick called C3 that's quite famous as well. See, this C3 is a colour change, and it's quite an advanced one, but it's cool. And it's well worth practising, but it's very knacky and very difficult. So I'm just giving you fair warning. Now what I'm going to do is first I'm going to teach you the colour change. Then I will teach you the trick itself, because the trick itself has another move in it called a Marlow Tilt. But you can't do the trick until you can do C3. So what do you need? I would suggest you take a run of 3 of one colour and suit. And then one very contrasting card. Okay? And set them up like this. So one, odd one out, and then 2. And square them. Now this move took me about 2 years to get competent at, and probably another half a year on top before I started performing in tricks. So this is one of those moves, don't be upset if you can't do it straight away. It took a couple of weeks just for me to even get some basic looking movement going. It's very, very knacky. And so the idea is that we spread 3 cards and we're using the ring finger to move a card on top, which probably looks really simple, but it's not. The first thing you have to do is learn how to separate the cards. So from behind, you're going to pull out the first 2 cards. Okay? And then the rest of your right hand, or your left, depending which side you're doing it on, is holding everything else in place. Now this is really the key to the trick looking good. It has to come out smoothly. If you do lots of readjusting like I'm doing here, it doesn't work, because the trick, the end part of the trick won't be lined up. Whereas if you keep the same constant pivot point on your thumb at the bottom, then when the other card comes out, it will line up. Okay, but if you do, I moved a couple, then I do the move, you can see there I get a messy. So we get 1, 2 from behind. Okay, and you should have something that looks like this, and then your middle finger is going here. Okay, so just on the edge of the first card, and it's holding everything together. So your lever points are your thumb and your middle finger. Now, a useful tip for this trick, or this move, have a slight bend. You'll find it easier to reach and it actually works better than if you're straight. You can do it, but it's slightly easier with a little bend. Okay, just a little one. So spend some time to begin with just getting this. Okay. 1, 2, pinch. From behind. Now, I would advise when you practice this move, do it at the angle I'm doing at it now. You can do it this way. So if this was my chest, Shin Lim quite likes doing it this way. He'll shake it against his chest, as I showed in the intro. It's harder to do. I can do it. It's a cool effect, but it's easier this way. It's easier on the hand muscles. So when you're learning it, learn it this way. Now, what you're looking to do is with your ring finger, and this is the bit that you're going to find hard, is you're going to slide the hidden card over. But when you first learn this, if I try to do it in my other hand, in fact, I've never tried to do it in my other hand. So where are we at? 1, 2. You're going to find you can't get the card to move properly. You can't get it to slide out. So what you're experiencing today is probably something like this. You kind of got these and they keep moving. With practice, you'll get really smooth. So you get them out. Oh, Christ, I've never tried to do this with my other hand. I should have thought of that before today, shouldn't I? So you've got something like, maybe like this, and you're trying to, and you're just catching that and it won't go. You're getting really annoyed with it and you maybe get a little bit. The little bend will help. Okay. Also, you can lightly wet the fingers. You can lick it or touch a wet glass or whatever. Because this is like many of the more advanced moves. It doesn't work if you have really clean hands. If there's no oiliness to your fingers, certain card moves can't be done because there's no tack, there's no stick. And you need a little bit of tackiness, a little bit of stick to get it to come out. So you can always just like lick that part of your finger and you'll find it a bit easier. Obviously, if you're performing for an audience, you can't really do that. But it'll help you get it. And you're trying to nudge. See what I'm doing if I come up a bit closer. So I'm trying to... And at this angle. See how I'm nudging it out slowly? Now, when you make the initial contact, you're going to find that you can't quite catch it. You're going to be going along here, and you're going to be swearing a lot. It's a knack, which means eventually you just kind of get it. And don't be worried if to begin with you can't even move that card at all. As I said, I've been doing this move now, pushing 2.5 to 3 years. So I can do it. My muscles are trained and it grips. You will keep pushing and glancing, and occasionally it will move a little bit. You're on the right path when that happens. You might find yourself having to reach round to get it. That's okay when you're first toying with the move, but it won't be any good in performance. So once you get a basic grip and comfortable, it needs to just be there. Look, I'm just this bit of my finger, just this bit is what's doing the work. So if the cards are lined up, it comes out like that. And so I did it in the trick with 2 jokers, an indifferent card and the selected card. I also use this move in my oil and water routine. If you haven't seen that, I'll see if I can remember to put a link below, but I did an oil and water routine. My last phase uses this move. C3. Let me see if I can do it from another angle for you. So if I spread first. Okay. That's what you're looking to do. This is going to be a long video. Don't worry if a card pings out while you're learning the move. Just focus on the move. Now, the next thing to consider is the adage that's used a lot in Magic. The big motion covers the small. Because you're seeing it and you're going, well, it's coming out in bits. Still, if you do this motion, you wave gently, you can't see the card coming out. And then if I'm doing it against my chest or down below like this, it doesn't matter. I go whoop, and it's out. So that is C3, the colour change. And yeah, you're just going to have to spend ages and ages until you can get that to move. And then over time, you'll get better at it. And you keep working on lining up the cards tidily so that when it comes out, it slots straight over the other card. And you might get a little bit here, but if you don't let on camera, it's more visible than it is at a distance, especially if you've got bordered cards. So what do I mean by bordered? You look at your standard bicycle deck, they have a white edge. Right, so the trick. So the next move you need to know to do this trick is called the Marlow Tilt. The Marlow Tilt is the act of putting the card in the middle, but actually I'm putting it one from the top. I don't use it often. It's a good move, but I don't use it often. So when I was showing the card, I did a get ready. I pushed, pulled back, and made a break. Then I go in low, and I deliberately nudge a few cards out. I slightly angle it so it doesn't go in smooth, and I nudge and I nudge. And then when I get it in right, it looks convincing. If you just go, there's the card, straight in, it looks a bit dodgy, especially if it glances out. So I do a couple, yeah. I get a nudge, and in. That's the Marlow Tilt. Not a move I use very often. It's not a move I'm hugely keen on because I think it can be a little unconvincing. Yeah, and then in. And then I took two jokers, I placed them on top, and I just dumped the rest. Don't need them. So I've now got Joker, Joker, and their card's fourth. So I put a card at the bottom and I spread. But I do a 2-card spread, not 3. The move still works the same. Okay, and I shake and I do my C3 and a card is shown. Ooh, cool. I close, I flip, and I spread a full C3 and show the card that had appeared. So now, in this spot, underneath the other joker, is the spectator's card. So if I do a C3, it comes out. I can then, if I want to, present. Okay. So again, let's go from the top. We have a card selected. We show it to the spectator. While they're looking at it, I take my little push off and get a break. I go in for a Marlow Tilt. I go jokers on top, dump the cards. One joker at the back. Spread 1. C3. Oh, no, that one's come out messy. Spread 1. C3. Oh. For the edit. Outtake reel. Right. Spread 1. I should do an outtake reel. You're full of swearing. Okay. Don't worry if it doesn't come out hugely far. As long as you get a bit of the back, you'll be fine. Because then the spectator's gone, oh, cool, the card's appeared. Turn. And do. Now, oh, that's what's causing me problems, my ankle. Right. Now, an interesting tip that will be good for you then. I'm doing a tutorial sitting down, so I'm leaning on my right arm, and I was wondering why I couldn't get my grip to work. I normally perform standing or free arm, so sitting on a chair without a table, and that changes the pressure on my arm, and that was making the move a little more difficult. Interesting. So there's a little tip for you, YouTube. Yeah. Right. So there you go. That's C3. It's difficult. It's really, really difficult. So don't be too worried if you can't do it to begin with. Okay, learn the basic version with 3 cards. See, let them pop if need be, it doesn't matter. Then you can do it with 2. But the key bits are the grip, the alignment, and getting that finger out smooth. Okay. Then once you're looking to perform it, you just grip a little tighter because you can do it already. There you go. That is C3. Shin popularised that colour change. I hope you liked it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.